James, did you notice while cooking that these eggs are off?
I thought the salt might cover the taste, sir.
Get rid of it.
Hello and welcome to Waste of Space, where we analyze aspect ratio usage in cinema, one movie at a time. Though I think this time I'm mainly just talking about the cinematography, irrespective of its aspect ratio. Anyway, today we're looking at the 2002 film 28 Days Later, which is presented in the aspect ratio of 185 to 1. 28 Days Later was primarily shot on Canon XL1 digital cameras. This is why the movie looks the way it does. This is also likely why most shots in this film are close-up, because lower resolution cameras can only show so much detail. The lo-fi digital cinematography gives the film a more realistic feel, but it also probably encouraged close-ups. The use of close-ups also points to how this movie is ultimately about the people who have to survive this hostile hellhole. This movie features regular close-ups, including medium close-ups and extreme close-ups. Close-ups are used when Selena and Mark give Jim the news about what's become of their world. This is a stellar example of the film's focus on the characters and their conversations. In addition to the close-ups, we get slow pans and very few cuts. This same technique is utilized when Selena and Mark talk to Jim at his house. A real obvious example of close-ups used for emphasis are when we see the infected. The opening scene in the animal testing facility, I feel, sets up for later scenes where the infected are attacking and close-ups are used in quick succession. Sometimes we see infected really quickly, but we never miss them, especially in close-up. I especially love this quick shot of an infected when the gang are exiting the tunnel. I also love this shot of Frank using a radio. It looks kind of wild, there's so much focus on that radio and him trying to get a signal. A shot like this could maybe be done with 35mm, but I don't have a regular film camera on hand to see how a shot like this would look. Add the flat composition provided by spherical lenses, and you get something that, at the time, could likely only be achieved with digital cameras. Even though we get infected and an empty London, this shot for me is the most impressive, the one that made me go, wowie zowie, that looks insane, I'm freaking out right now. Speaking of freaking out, let's talk about some wide shots. Jim's introduction has plenty of them, including him naked in a hospital room. And more wide shots can be seen as Jim ventures into this scary new world. This is also where we can see that Jim is wearing bright medical scrubs, which really makes him stand out visually. Combined with the low-res cameras, it means we can see him in any of the wide shots because he doesn't blend into the background. Maybe the eye adjusts, but it's impressive what the low-res cameras can capture within wide shots. We may not get a lot of them, but they always make sense when they're used, like when we see people going from place to place, or when we see Frank talk about all the buckets on the roof. While the London sequence has, in my opinion, the best use of wide framing, it gets used well all throughout the runtime, only being used when needed. That probably sounds obvious, like, well no shit, why would they ever shoot wides unless they needed them? But my point is that, due to the cameras used, they probably were extra aware of when they could and could not compose wide shots. As a result, this movie often sticks to close-ups. One more thing I'll mention is the final scene in the film. In the climax, Jim gets injured and Selena and Hannah have to get him out of there in Frank's taxi. When the taxi breaks through the gate, there is a freeze frame shot of Selena and Jim getting pushed by gravity. I don't know why director Danny Boyle thought this was a good idea, but it gives us a moment before we transition to the final scene. Some high pressure stuff happens along with the word hell up there in the corner, and we find Jim waking up in a nice bed. This final scene combines all the types of close-ups and wide shots that we've seen in the film. This is also the only part of the film shot on 35mm. Each shot is now clearer and crisper than anything that came before it. It's a chance for the film to take advantage of actual film stock and have different shots and angles before the movie ends for good. I know I didn't really dig into how the 1:85 aspect ratio was used in this film, but hopefully my focusing on the cinematography is okay. I would like to think my observations were influenced by the film's use of 1:85, even if I wasn't really mentioning it. Either way, I hope you got something out of this video, even if it's just evidence to prove I'm a hack. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Hopefully.